It's a lovely morning at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. It's the first match of the penultimate day of action at the Hero Champions Trophy. This one for a right to fight for 5th position. European neighbours Belgium against Netherlands in what should be quite an intriguing encounter in this competition. Both teams have actually had some pretty good form. Belgium, in fact, were unbeaten until their quarter-final meeting against India, where they lost out 2-4. And Netherlands topped their particular pool, but losing out first to India in their final pool encounter, and then in a dramatic twist, losing out to Pakistan, which has set up a mouth-watering semi-final clash right at the end of today between the South Asian neighbours. But for the moment, it's going to be Netherlands against Belgium. Suffice to say, the Dutch wouldn't have been mentally prepared for this, because this is the first time since 1988. 26 years ago was the last time that Netherlands finished outside the top 4 in this competition. But they will be looking to redeem themselves with a good finish to this tournament with a couple of victories, but it won't be easy against Belgium, who also won 5th position at their debut Champions Trophy 2 years ago. Let's stand by as always, first of all, for the national anthems of the two teams, beginning with Belgium.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of the Netherlands.
Well, one thing these two teams always promise and deliver on is a number of goals. Met also in the Champions Trophy 2 years ago, on which occasion in the pool stages, Netherlands ran out 5-4 winners. Also met in January in India during the World Hockey League finals, and that's where it was a 2-all draw. Team news, Belgium, of course, the good news for the coach has been the fact that they have been having goals from all over the park. 9 goals scored by 8 different goal scorers. Their top scorer is Sebastian Dokier, number 9, who starts on the bench. Some team news, number 22, Simon Guignard, and number 25, Loic Luppier, will not be playing this match because of a lower leg injury and a shoulder injury, respectively, which will be quite a heavy blow for this man. Dutch in origin, Jeroen Delme, somebody who's had 12 medals at the Champions Trophy, including a gold at the 1996 edition, which was the first one to be held on Indian soil. Netherlands give a start in goal today for Permin Black, so he comes in place of Jaap Stockman, who starts on the bench. And watch out also for their 2 FIH Player of the Year nominees, Robert Kemperman, number 14, and their skipper, Robert van der Horst, who's playing his 227th cap. And Mink van der Weerden has also delivered goals for Max Caldas, who seems like he has, well, gone in for a little bit of a trim completely. Getting rid of his beard might just have been a superstition going into this tournament. He hasn't been able to deliver, and maybe that's why the facial hair is also gone. Fernando Gomez is one of today's umpires. He comes from Argentina, and he's joined by Raghu Prasad of India. Both vastly experienced, and will be looking forward to a good day in the Bhubaneswar sun. Netherlands, those 2 consecutive defeats would have deflated them somewhat, and it will be quite intriguing to see how they pick themselves up Although I suppose when you come up against a team with whom you share some sort of a rivalry, it always helps you raise the level of your game. Off we go in this match. It's Belgium who push things back, get things going. They are playing from right to left in red, and up against them in their away colours of white are the Dutchmen, and will have to do some early defending as the Belgians look to attack. Getting some useful ball in. Tom Boone gets a free hit at a good position. I'm Debansan. Joining me for this one, as he has been doing right through the week, is former GBR goalkeeper and former president as well of the Great Britain Hockey Board, or the English Hockey Board rather, Simon Mason. Welcome, Simon. Should be an interesting day, exciting day of hockey.
Yeah, morning Dubai, and looking forward to it immensely. It's two teams who get the first chance at goal. It's wide of the goal of Pearman Black, but two teams who play quickly through midfield. We could easily see them cancel each other out, but the speed they play with will create chances such as that going past Pearman Black's right-hand post. But it's whether the players can link together. Robert van der Horst for the Dutch has shown why he is FH Player of the Year nominee, but Kemperman and Herzberger have flattered to deceive a little bit. No real consistent outcomes of their youngsters. Van Puffelen's been good. Wenger and Halleman need to do more. Belgium, Briels has just looked a little bit isolated up front. Tom Boone, who by my maths is the 6 million rupee man, his $107,000 fee for the Hockey India League, if it's converted about that. He's just not really fired on all cylinders. So if they can link together, then the Belgians are going to cause some problems for the Dutch.
Yes, Tom Boone, just one great moment from him, one goal that he got, the dramatic late equalizer, last gasp equalizer against Australia. Now here come the Dutch looking for their first circle penetration, get it as well, almost getting the ball through. Belgium slightly iffy in defence, but eventually getting the ball away.
Sander Bart forcing his way through on his knees at one point, now has to tackle back.
Yes, and this is Belgium moving forward with a lot of confidence right through the middle. Young Emmanuel Stockbrooks, and almost getting a little bit of support from the man up front, Sebastian Docquier.
Docquier is one of those Belgian players who's shown pace down the flanks, quite happy to drive through the spaces when they're presented.
Well, Simon, you were of course in the commentary box back in January when we saw the Hero World League match between these two teams, and it finished in 2-2 draw with lots and lots of exciting moments right through the game, and both teams showed that they can match each other an eye for an eye. There's a significant difference. That was a pool stage encounter. This is one where both teams have, in any case, lost out on a chance to finish amongst the top four. That will be rankling, but it's time to pick themselves up from the floor.
Yes, it is, and I think that their teams with so much pride for different reasons. The Dutch, the tradition and history of being up at the top of pretty much every single major competition, and the Belgians, their growth through the last 4 or 5 years to establish themselves where they now are in the world rankings. And their players are recognised and respected across the world, so none of these fiercely international competitors are going to give up on any sort of outcomes, and they're certainly not going to turn around and think their tournament is over.
Henk van der Weyden finds the captain, Robert van der Horst. He has had a good impact through some of the games. Netherlands, of course, began in spanking fashion, beating Argentina 3-0. After that, they beat Germany 4-1, and just looked like they were perhaps outplayed by a very, very intense and very quick Indian unit in their last pool encounter. This is a good move, and it's the first penalty corner as well, which has resulted as a result of the ball onto the foot of young Arthur van Doren.
Relatively straightforward. The drive in from Sherman down the baseline, just looks to pull it back. Van Doren's just not quite got his feet in the right place. There's no protection. Look at the backhand there. He needs to have his stick slightly more upright. He's threatening the pass, but in no way can he get that stick back across his feet. Easy target for Sherman.
Just 20 years of age, but has already completed 50 caps. His 51st cap today, Van Doren, and has looked good through this Hero Champions Trophy. But his first error leads to the first clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. Mink van der Weyden looking for his 4th goal of this Hero Champions Trophy, whips it in hard and gets a repeat penalty corner as a result of the ball coming off the first runner.
Yeah, a couple of Dutch players with their hands on their heads. Comes out to the top. It is deflected by that #1 runner running that tight, effectively suicide line. There is a second phase, but Belgium managed to stop the ball going in the goal. Boccard in the end gets the final touch.
Here's the repeat, and this time it's a fabulous save. It's that man again, Vincent Van Asch. Terrific spell of pressure though. Netherlands looking to keep it up and will get a long corner here. Mink van der Weerden, the man who took both those attempts. The second one perhaps closer on target, also missing the first runner, but a fantastic save by Van Asch, who's had a very good Hero Champions Trophy, it must be said, Mace.
So again, clean stop, and it's Van der Weerden whips round it. That is a superb bit of goalkeeping from Van Asch. Gets his right hand in exactly the right place, back of that big right hand glove. Weight's in the right place so it's not leaning backwards. If his weight was, if he was down late, it would deflect off and up into the net.
Down the right, here on Herzberger, forced to turn it back. Belgium defending in good numbers. The entire unit in their own 50 yards here. As this ball is split through, it's a good one. Picked up by Robert van der Horst. It's a good, swift pass. Picked up by Seve van Aas. Almost controlled it well enough, but just giving possession away.
Well, it was an old school pass in, a clip hit. The hands moved down the stick from Van der Horst to deliver the pass into the circle, take some of the pace off it to ensure it's flat. Van Asch should really have done more. He picked, he dribbled, he was in a position to get his feet round to shoot, and then the ball just bobbled off the end of his stick.
This is another long ball which has been almost picked up. The Netherlands perhaps identifying a slight weakness down the Belgian left flank as far as their defense is concerned, and that's where most of the passes have been coming in these first 6 minutes or so. But this time they're using that left flank to get an attack going. It's a good run coming in from Felix Denaye, who got one of the goals against the Indians. And there's a green card for Sander Bart as a result of his tackle.
Yeah, deliberately breaking down play, I assume, is what Raghu Prasad felt that was. Denaye with sublime skills through the midfield channel. As the ball started to get popped up in the air, he was quite happy to get his stick under it and continue his run.
Belgium with that temporary advantage, looking for a deflection inside the D. It was sent in by Van Doren and nearly found its way across to one of his strikers. Sander Bart was given a green card just a while ago.
It's the ball that's slapped in. It's a good awareness from Van Doren. Dokia trying to get his stick round it and pull it back into the goal. After that passage of play, there was an exchange between himself and Van Doren suggesting where he would actually like the ball. If you're running out in that direction, extension on the left hand, it's almost impossible to tap the ball back in towards the goalkeeper. We've seen it done once this tournament so far by the Indians. Sunil scoring an amazing goal from completely the wrong angle.
Yes, some incredible goals scored in the course of this Champions Trophy. Oh, this one was sent in, just got a deflection. 16 matches which have seen 73 goals. What's been interesting is 51 different goal scorers for each country. And I doubt too many have had the variety of Belgium. Belgium have had 8 different scorers, but perhaps that's also been a bit of a disadvantage because when they needed that goal to come in against India, just couldn't find one. Now this is another great attempt coming in and well worked again by Denaye.
Well, Denaye feeling that that's just a shoulder barge to stop him getting into the 25. Fine to agree with him.
Almost working their way into the D as well, but an infringement made by Kousters allows the Dutch to just regroup, and there's another infringement. That's a good interception by Van Doren, showing why he is quite impeccable in defense in this Belgian unit. And Straydonk first spreads it out to the left. This is Van Doren. Oh, through ball picked up nearly. Could have been dangerous. Back with Belgian possession, looking to move this forward. Dokia does find his way through to Briels. And first to it though is Mink van der Weerden. Van der Weerden almost finding his teammate, but there is an attempt here from Belgium to work this way in. Thomas Briels with a superb run, and in the end, well done by Perman Black.
Yeah, Perman Black had to come out on his reverse, went with his big left-hand pad to block up the baseline. Needed to do so. It was superb, excellent skill down the baseline from Briels, all on his own.
Somebody who impressed us a lot, especially in the first encounter that Belgium won against Pakistan 2-1. then played what was perhaps one of the games of this championship. 4-all against Australia. Equalized with the last hit, literally, of the entire match, of a penalty corner by Tom Bone. But now will need to defend this as Netherlands come forward, and Rogier Hoffman was looking for what would have been a great pass had he found either one of Hoffman. Belgium at the other end had this chance.
Yeah, for a moment I thought it hit Dokier's foot, but it was down the baseline, and Briels was able to get right in on goalkeeper Pearman Black with absolutely no contest as he ran in.
Yes, this was one weakness perhaps in defence of the Dutch, which was exploited by Pakistan in the last match. Having said that, though, 3 of their 4 goals did come from penalty corners, so that will be one aspect which the Belgians will need to try and exploit today. As things stand, out of all 8 teams in this competition, only Argentina are yet to score from a penalty corner. Stunning, considering that they have somebody by the name of Gonzalo Peña in their ranks. Argentina, of course, will take on England for one of the placement matches, the winner of which will go on to play the winner of this match for 5th place. Now, this is John Doman, almost finding his way through to Costers, but the infringement comes in as a result of that attempt from Sander Devine. Just at the edge of the dotted line, John Doman gets this one in. Boone. Captain Doman almost finding his way through to Boone, but comes off his leg, and that's why it's a reprieve for the Dutch defence. The last few minutes have been good for Belgium.
Yeah, it's training ground, free hit, interchange of play, ball in, and Boone actually gets too much on that. Needed to just be more of a glancing touch in front. He got the full head of the stick, and in doing so, because he was running towards the ball, that's when the ball stops dead and you do end up kicking it rather than deflecting it where you want it to go.
This is an easy takedown right at the right edge of the pitch by Kemperman. On to the captain, Van der Horst with a great ball. Herzberger, who also scored against Pakistan, gets the opening goal from almost the same edge of the D. His second goal in this Hero Champions Trophy, hit with a lot of power, gave no chance whatsoever to Van Asch.
Well, if you want a simple goal, this is it. Kemperman, first pass to Van der Horst. Van der Horst finds Herzberger, spin to forehand, back foot, right in the side netting. That's an epic finish. Superb technique, knew exactly where the ball was, how he was going to connect. Van Asch with no chance, even though he dived to his left. Delightful from Herzberger.
That last angle from behind the goal told you what acute angle he was able to exploit. It was so tiny, that little margin of error which he managed to get past. Van Asch with no chance, 11th minute strike from Herzberger, just like he did. He actually got the first goal against Pakistan as well. And it's Belgium who are immediately on the counter-offensive. Black does well, and somehow Netherlands survived this onslaught. Here come the Dutch, looking for that second if they can get it. Herzberger again. And this time the infringement going against him, and that leads to a free hit for the Belgians, who almost hit this on the counter.
They did immediately from the pushback. Denayer going all the way down the outside. Pearman Black, classic goalkeeping smother, hips down low, right hip down so that nothing can go underneath. Body into a V shape so the legs can swing round and provide a bit of protection. Holds the ball well and waits for his defenders to clear.
Denayer is possibly one of the tallest Belgian players on the pitch, but for a man of his size, he's amazingly quick and agile as well. Does very well with that entire body structure of his, and utilized it to good effect before in this Hero Champions Trophy.
Well, another player who's grown through the tournament, started very quietly, and through that Belgian midfield you would expect Denayer to be more obvious, and in the first 2 games you just didn't see him very much at all. He wasn't affecting play with the people around him. Now, however, latter stage of this tournament, he's coming into it that little bit more.
This is one man who does need to make an impact. Tom Bone gets this ball going. It is Denayer who slaps it in, and again it's the big boot of Pearman Black.
Look at that from midfield as they come down. Herzberger, Kemperman, Rogier Hoffman. That's an epic midfield line to watch. If you were a defender watching that coming at you, you'd be going, right, okay, this could be tricky.
It's an all-stars 11, and that's why it puts into perspective the humongous effort that has been put in by both India and Pakistan in defeating this Netherlands team. As Simon rightly pointed out, they have a history of finishing in the top, certainly the 2 or 3 at major tournaments, and from that perspective, this will be a huge disappointment, this Champions Trophy. This is a long ball, but it's been well intercepted. First to it was Martin Havenga, one of the younger players who've been given a go at this Hero Champions Trophy. Quickly taken, Seve Panas is first to it. He's got some support inside the box in the shape of Mirko Krauscher. And he's the one who's almost got through to it. Nevertheless, still comes down to Herzberger, looking for a reverse. And some stout defending from Dorian Thierry.
Brave defending, never mind stout. Herzberger's picked it on the far post. I actually think it was the wrong choice to go backhand. He needed to have anticipated the pass to get something on goal a little bit quicker, because Van Asch was absolutely nowhere. So ball comes across. Van Asch has taken the overhead down. It goes through the mid-range. That's where Bayer, poor first touch, we didn't pick that up. That's why Herzberger couldn't go direct to goal.
You get the impression that this first quarter coming to a finish will not happen too soon for the Belgians, because they are under the cosh. They have had some attacks of their own, but Netherlands have looked quite threatening each time they have moved forward, and a lot down to that midfield, which Simon did talk about. The likes of Herzberger, Kemperman, Van der Horst supporting them from behind. Just once they get possession, they look quite dangerous. Thierry.
Yeah, but Divine, you did talk about the Dutch defence, and yes, they did give away those chances against Pakistan and were punished for them. And that's exactly right. That's where they've looked vulnerable. They've been fine in midfield holding the ball, but when the Belgians have been able to pop it into the space behind them, that's when they've started to create some really dangerous opportunities.
Such as this one, yet again, coming in from the back line and getting lots and lots of space to work with. Almost found Doman.
Yeah, it's a great crack across from Briels, but there wasn't the commitment from Doman on the far post. Thierry had gone for it. It was an easy tap-in.
Yes, haven't been able to finish off the job, but this is Herzberger, the scorer of the only goal thus far in this match. The first quarter coming almost to a close here in this 5th and 8th placement match. A semi-final of sorts, because the winner will get to compete for the 5th position. The last attack possibly coming through. Herzberger lining it up on his reverse. Anytime now the hooter will go off, and the Belgium defense will feel quite happy with it. That is it, the end of the first 15 minutes in this match. It's Belgium 0, Netherlands 1.
And in the first quarter of the Euro Champions Trophy, Belgium.
The only goal of this quarter coming in from Jeroen Herzberger, getting his second goal of this Euro Champions Trophy. Got one against Pakistan in the quarterfinals. And it must be said, at that stage it looked like they were cruising in that game. It is looking like they are a little comfortable in this game as well. And that's where they'll need to be careful. That's what I'm sure the coach Max Caldas will point out to them. Both coaches, proof of how global this game now is. A Dutchman in charge of Belgium and an Argentinian taking care of the Netherlands side. Of course, a little difficult to recognize today without his beard, but nevertheless a fine player in his own right, and has also done very well as a coach. Has done a lot of work with the women's team as well, and has been doing quite well with the Dutch men as well.
Niet trappen in de eerste beweging. Contact voor de spitsen met iets bedoeld.
Belgium finished 5th at the Champions Trophy in 2012, and these crossover matches were something where they really brought their best game, and it was as a result of a loss to India on that occasion too. So they'll be hoping for a repeat of that performance. Beat England 4-0 and then beat Germany 5-4 after extra time in their 5th and 6th place match. That's the kind of performance Jeroen Delmy will be inspiring his boys to come up with.
Well, he'll be reinforcing the positives, as will Caldas. That's what they'll be focusing on. They'll want to take away a couple of the weaker areas and make sure they just change their structure slightly to adapt to how each other is playing. And this is kind of the bluff, double bluff situation. Are you going to counter something? Are you going to counter something that's happened and then that changes, or are you just going to focus now on the positive? So getting the ball to Herzberger to give him those opportunities.
Yes, in balance in this first quarter, you would have to say, while Netherlands did get the goal, Belgium perhaps had a few more clear-cut looks at Perman Black's goal, and he was, it would be safe to say, the busier of the two keepers in that sense. Off we go, the second 15 minutes. It's Belgium in red from right to left, and The Netherlands in slightly unusual colors. Not often that one sees them outside of their orange. Have a tiny strip of orange on their socks, but apart from that, most of it is white. Here come Belgium, coming down the right. Again, a great run and a deflection. Herman Black had to be alert, and he was.
I'm not sure Denayer, who got the final touch, knew that he had support behind himself. Cossins had burnt around the outside to create the opportunity. Herman Black having to be very aware of where Denayer was coming in, but the more dangerous supporting run was actually on the far side of the goal.
Cousins got their first goal in this competition, and that has been a feature of this Belgian play, that they have had those players from midfield bursting in and getting into great goal-scoring positions, as was the case in the previous chance.
The Herzberger's goal was just fantastic earlier on in the game. He had about a ball width to put it in. That created the lead for the Netherlands, but the Belgians have come back in and created chances of their own.
That's why this game is red hot. Anything can still happen. Long way to go. Almost a complete 3 quarters left in this match. And Herman Black will know that his day is far from over. We're also, remember, awaiting the first shootout in this competition, which will be the situation if scores are tied after 60 minutes of play. Belgians coming in once again. The Red Lions looking for that equalizer to bring themselves back on par, but Nick van der Schoot, one of the younger players in this Dutch side, does well. Wins a free hit for his team, and off they go from the left.
Well, as Hoffman comes forward down that left-hand channel, I find it interesting that the Dutch are coming forward through the channel that the Belgians then want to attack down. They've consistently come down this right-hand side and then looked for crosses.
This is a lovely run coming in from Cousins. Almost did it all by himself, but in the end, perhaps just leaving himself with a little bit too much to do.
Yeah, slightly. Sander Devine had to get his left hand down. There's a suggestion he missed the ball and just simply shoved it off the end of the pitch. But if I was the Netherlands, I'd be carrying the ball out to my own right-hand side of the turf. Get it to the Belgian left. Get it away from where they want to attack. As soon as you win the ball back, try and transfer through central midfield and get it to a less dangerous channel.
And we saw a lot more of that in the first quarter, especially the early exchanges. Netherlands were using that right flank of theirs. And there was a visible weakness on that Belgian left flank. Suddenly the most of this match has changed in terms of where it's being played on the pitch, and that's suiting the Red Lions just fine. There's a through ball, and Frank Straydonk needs to be alert. He should be. He will watch this one through without any harm done. Just one of those long ball situations which can potentially turn hazardous if the defender makes a mistake.
Yeah, it's when as a midfielder you've got no real forward passes, so you can gently float a space ball. And if you float it cleverly with a little flip pass up into the air, it does make it slightly hard for the defender to cope with. And as we saw there, Hallemer just getting himself in a little bit of trouble.
Remember, the Belgians are missing Le Pai, who's one of their best players in defense. Both he and Simon Gugnard have looked like two of their better, more consistent players right through this Hero Champions Trophy. Both missing because of injury today. Now down the right, Van der Linden. Just a little bit of an argy-bargy, but eventually comes back to Dutch possession. Henk van der Weerden, apart from those 2 penalty corner attempts, hasn't had too much to deal with. Oh, long ball which was whipped in by Kemperman. Could have gone anywhere. Luckily for Belgium, didn't find a Dutch stick.
And it was whipped in, and it was, as you say, Kemperman looking for Sevi Van As. The ball comes in hard, but look at Van As, he's running right to left across the goal. Now that's just not a position. He needs a call from Van der Linden behind him, who's on a forehand, to let that ball go, because Van der Linden is either in a position to collect it and drive towards the keeper, or just first time deflect it.
This is Kemperman, a little fortuitous to hold on to the ball. The first time around it seemed like it had been taken away by Denayer. Eventually it is going as a free hit here for the Belgians, but good skills.
Yeah, a great little dink back between Jonker to start with. Florian Thierry just taking the ball to the air because it makes it so much harder to effect a tackle as a defender if the ball has popped up off the surface.
Well, if you're a Belgian hockey fan, you will be disappointed that your team is, of course, not in reckoning for the gold here at the Champions Trophy. But some of the younger players who've come through, they are looking impressive. This is the nation which has made rapid strides in recent years, and then from that perspective, invaluable experience for some of these younger players, one of whom is Thierry, who was with the junior squad till 1 year ago.
Yeah, whilst I agree with you philosophically, Divine, the players who are down there, regardless of age or experience, will feel massively disappointed to have not made the semi-final stage. They have played well at times, and some of the results have surprised even us up here in the box in terms of those one-off quarter-final games, but losing to the Indians here in India in front of the capacity crowds that we've seen, it's such a tough ask, probably the hardest of the quarter-finals, to come out and try and execute a victory in those circumstances. The Indians have been exceptional at times when they've come forward with the support of those fans who turned out in huge numbers.
This is a long ball, nearly picked up, but just couldn't control it there, Herzberger. Just a little too wide for him. But Netherlands, not for the first time in this half, trying to use that long ball and catch the Belgian defense off guard. Yes, I was pitchside there just before the presentation, and it looked like the Belgian players were devastated. It was emotionally quite draining for them. But what was great to watch was this crowd at Bhubaneswar gave a standing ovation to all of the Belgian players, which was heartening. That is what sport is all about at the end of the day.
Well, that and winning.
A slightly topsy-turvy quarterfinals, because all teams from the bottom halves of the draw in the pool stages making it through to the semi-finals. But this tells you that you need to bring your best game each day. It's an exacting tournament, 6 days, 6 match days, and each team involved in each of the match days. Now here come Belgium down the left. Alexander De Paul getting some support now from Tanguy Cousins. Cousins on to Van Stradonk. Switching flanks, looking for the right again, Belgium. Great ball through the centre. Kousters was first to it. Back with Belgian possession. Good spell of play from them, holding on to possession. Something one would imagine they've not had too much of in this match thus far. Oh, a touch on, but just goes straight. Well read by the man in defence, Rogier Hoffman. Van der Horst, Van der Weerden, back to the skipper. A bit of skill to bring it back. Almost went away from him. He has a man in the centre to pass to. Constantine Jonker is in position. But the Belgian defence recovers and does well to rebuff this attempt.
Oh, Van der Horst, what an incredible set of skills from the man as he ran through midfield. It was just so individual. It's all about him. It goes almost out of control. He manages to get a touch at extension. Even now the ball's jabbed away. He just doesn't manage to execute the final touch across the goal. But if you see how many times that was potentially away from his control, the ability to reach and extend on that reverse stick, a metre and a bit of composite material, full arm's length, and then the strength to still pull it back across the body to get into the circle.
Absolute class player. That's why he's had those 226 caps before today for the Netherlands, and only 12 goals, which tells you about his value to the team in setting up play for the remaining teammates of his. Panas through on here to Van der Schoot. A little bit more possession for Netherlands, and not surprisingly they have translated it to more chances for themselves, but the only shot that they've had has been on goal. And in comparison, Permanent Black has been able to save one that went towards his goal on the other side, left of the pitch from where we're watching.
And it's the cross-field transfers from the Netherlands that have created the danger. They haven't managed to attack specifically down channels from one end to the other, aside from marauding individual runs like the one we just saw from Robert van der Horst. They've not played through channels in 1-2s and 3-on-2s. It's when they've gone through. So Kemperman passing long, raking cross-field. Balls crashed in from diagonals across the goal for Herzberger.
And a good example of that yet again, the play starting from the right, switched first to the left, back to the right. Wenger now going down to the centre, to the skipper, Van der Horst. Orchestrating the defence in the absence at the moment of Van der Weerden. The long ball almost picked up, and had he gotten through to it, Sander de Wijn could have posed a threat for the Belgian defence.
And it was a ball thrown over the top from Van der Horst. You see the gap round behind. we don't have the technology right now to be able to kind of see it through his eyes as he looks up. What does he see in front of him when he's looking for those passes? And in essence, what the players will be looking for is almost counting as they defend to see, are there more Belgians or opponents on this side of the pitch? If there are, we need to transfer. They'll be trying to put a pass in that creates a 2-on-1. And if they can count the numbers as they're, or be aware of the numbers, they're more likely to get outcomes.
Well, Belgium will not die wondering. They are the kind of team who will keep fighting till they find that equalizer. That's why throwing some generous men forward, and that's what's going on. Lots and lots of players in attack, but Netherlands, of course, looking to defend, and they have taken to the old maxim that the best form of defense is attack. That's why here they come again. Van der Linden getting that ball through from Herzberger, gets it back. And de Baart just could not get one, but it comes off the foot of Tom Bone, and this is a chance now to whip in one of those balls. We have seen that prove to be a profitable avenue of scoring for most teams. Will they do that? No. Taking it slow, and was sent in, but no problems at all for Van Obel. Eventually a defensive scoop, but lands at possession for the Dutch. Into the last 3.5 minutes of this first half. 4 quarters, remember, of 15 minutes apiece. And as we mentioned before, if scores are level after that, we will have the penalty shootout, or the shootout rather, where one player goes up against the goalkeeper and has 8 seconds to convert. Cousins looking promising. Not enough men currently in support, which is why looking to buy some time. This has been sent in. Oh, not very convincing defending, and that's why they have conceded the penalty corner. This is the chance that Belgium would have been looking for.
Yeah, it's a horrible touch on the edge of the D. Down the right-hand side yet again, and the ball crashed in, and as it's crashed in, his Sander de Weyne gets a touch, comes across the circle. It's an easy decision from Raghu Prasad. Just that touch that changes the angle. It only has to change a fraction to find the foot of Hofmann. Absolutely nothing that the Dutch can say.
Yes, just enough to be considered inside the D, and that has given this opening to Tom Bone. Remember, no Luipai, he was another very, very good drag flicker, but they have Tom Bone. Bone goes for it, but outstanding bit of work in the end from the defense to make sure that he squirted it wide.
Yeah, last ditch on the edge of the circle from Florent Van Obel to try and get the ball back for Belgium.
Yes, that was a good spell from the Belgians, and just need to make sure that they get that back. Some momentum going into the second half will be useful, and the best way to get that would be a goal, which nearly came here.
Yeah, and Tom Bone, the very first touch on the edge of the D, just rolls the ball off to the right side of his stick. You know, in terms of trying to then get it back on goal, he accelerates the stick head through, conscious that the ball is not in the right place, then re-catches it, and in doing so just pulls it wide of the left-hand post.
Just one goal thus far in this Hero Champions Trophy, and that is something that will disappoint him, known for his usual goal-scoring antics across the 168 caps that he's had before. And at just 24 years of age, he's got a bright future ahead of him to be one of the game's greats. Dokier with some support here from the captain, Domen. All the way back to Van Streydonk. Van Doren. Van Obel back with Arthur Van Toren. Would be that last phase of play where Belgium can look for something substantial. This is sent in. Oh, looking for a deflection, but Thomas Breels needed to do better.
Yeah, it gets a touch in front of Thomas Breels, though. There's a deflection into him. It's a tiny, tiny touch from Mink van der Weerden as it comes in. It's a great delivery, and Breels is in exactly the right place. Wanted to suggest it was a corner for lifted ball, but it can't have been more than about 10 centimetres off the floor because he was on the floor.
Yes, Belgium will look back at this first half and believe that they have had their chances, and they will think that sooner or later, surely they will get a goal. What needs to happen at the other end, of course, is they need to defend just as assuredly as they have done in the second quarter. It's been much better. Just a snap mistake in the first quarter, which led to the goal. Oh, this one could be the second. That really is a fantastic finish. And it's just reward in the end for Sander Bart, because right through this Hero Champions Trophy, he's found himself in great positions. This time he's been rewarded with a goal. And just what we were talking about, the Belgian defense needed to do its job, didn't here?
It's a crash ball in. Sander Bart is amazed that he's stopped that. He's hung a stick out to try and deflect it. It's stopped absolutely dead, but then this, poised to work out where to put the ball. That's an incredible finish from a man who has been playing at the heart of the Dutch defence. Brilliant, eyes up, past Van Asch. Van Asch had to be on his line ready for the deflection.
Well, the story is it is 2-0 for Netherlands, but what those numbers won't tell you is that there have been two fantastic assists from the skipper, Robert van der Horst. Both goals scored from clinical passes which have been sent into the D and have led to quite easy finishes in the end. That tells you about the quality of the man. So inside the first 30 minutes, Netherlands with a slender advantage only, because in matches between these two teams, a flurry of goals can result at any stage. As things stand though, the Dutch are doing a good job. Dutch delight here in Bhubaneswar. At halftime, it's Belgium 0, Netherlands 2. Some fantastic play from the Dutchman, looking to put behind the disappointment of successive defeats against India and Pakistan. And quite the icing on the cake, and you can see it in the body language. They're walking off with their heads held high and a spring in their stride. Fantastic goal right towards the end by Sander Bart to complement the first, which came in from Herzberger. Belgium have also had their fair share of chances and will believe that they can come back into this match if they can also rectify the defensive errors which crept in at some stages. Jeroen Delmy would be telling his players that, look, you have this match within your grasp. All you've got to do is try and start well in the third quarter, and then we will be in business. That should be the central message at least, because at the moment they trail by 2 goals. Half-time scoreline here at Bhubaneswar. Belgium 0, Netherlands 2. It's not quite the match of the same importance that either of these two teams would have been wanting before today, but on the penultimate day of the Hero Champions Trophy, tantalizingly poised game. Netherlands with the advantage thanks to two fine goals from Jeroen Herzberger and Sander Bart, but Simon Mason alongside me. Simon, there hasn't been too much to separate the two teams, barring some greater tactical awareness perhaps from the Dutch.
Yeah, and it's Herzberger on the edge of the circle. Great spin and finish. He's got a ball width to put it in. Finds exactly that space past Van Asch. It's a delightful stop and spin as it goes in. Great individual skill.
And that ball had come in from Robert van der Horst, and he turned provider for the second goal as well. Here comes the Dutch captain, just swings it in. Sander Bart with a fantastic take and just caught everybody napping there.
Did indeed. I mean, I think it caught himself by surprise as he stopped and finished.
Yes, and those two goals is all that separates, because other than that, you can see that most of the numbers are even. Indeed, Belgium have more possession in terms of their opposition half, 52% for them. Not enough penalty corners for both teams, but that's also probably a tribute to the fact that they have defended quite well. Only one card in it, and not too many shots as well. Just 3 shots, out of which 2 goals have resulted.
Yeah, showing that both defences are pretty impenetrable at times, but there's just some small passing lanes for the balls to come into the circle.
We have seen some great crowds right through this entire week, which, of course, the FIH president on screen there, Leandro Negre, will be quite pleased with. Bhubaneswar has done an excellent job. The evening sessions have been electrifying, and the morning sessions have also been made quite pleasant by the presence of a number of young spectators. Young and old, they're all queuing up. Bhubaneswar is the place to be, and the Kalinga Stadium is the absolute venue to be at right through this week. Well, what has made the biggest difference at the moment, Mace?
Well, to me, it's about how the Dutch have attacked different channels. So we see here it's the transfer through midfield. Great pass from Kemperman to Van der Horst, and then finding Herzberger in the circle. And exactly the same has happened consistently during the course of the game. So Kemperman across to left midfield. Robert van der Horst finding the pass into Herzberger. He spins and finishes well, but it's that midfield transfer to exploit different attacking channels. Same here. From centre midfield, van der Horst cuts in, finds the ball into the circle. It's almost identical, and the outcome obviously is the same, because he can get his eyes up. It's into a channel where he's got a chance and got time. That cutting field's great individual skill, and now we find Sander Bart to finish.
Well, the tactics have been working quite well for Max Caldas. Let's see what Max has to say. He's with Michael Absalom.
Max, obviously very disappointing to have lost the quarter-final game. How did you get your players up for this game?
Well, I think it was a big struggle because I think we let ourselves down in the quarterfinals. I think that we didn't compete, and today was only about competing, and actually you need to win for yourself first before you can win for the other team. And on 2 days ago we lost for ourselves, and that's pretty embarrassing for our level.
Assessment of that first half, 2-0 up, it looked like you were dominating possession and 2 really good goals.
Yeah, it's great goals, and they was looking good, so that's a good sign. But I mean, we've got a great team against and a great coach against, and we're going to be pumped up to come back, and we need to be very wary of our own game and just try to keep our own standards much higher.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
What would Jeroen Delmy have told his boys?
I think they've just got to be consistent down where the same channels that they have been attacking. They've gone to the right-hand side of the pitch consistently, and I don't think the Dutch have defended that channel particularly well. It seems relatively straightforward for them to get across the back and across the circle. What I think they need to do, and it's tough when you are 2 men down for injury, they've got to look at getting an extra man into the circle from the opposite side. So as they're working down the right, they've got to commit probably a left midfield player higher up the pitch to get a left forward into the dangerous areas.
Yes, 2-0 might look like a numerical superiority, but the Belgians will know all too well, because they were 2-0 up in their quarterfinal and then went on to concede 4 more goals. So it's all about how you finish, not so much how you begin in this format. 4 quarters of hockey, third about to begin. So the next 15 minutes could hold the key about which way this game is going to swing. Particularly if Belgium can get an early goal, or 2 ideally, then we will have a massive finish to this encounter. Both teams swapping ends, so the Dutchmen now in white going from right to left, and defending their goal on the left in red are the Belgians. World number 2 Netherlands up against world number 4 Belgium. So clash of heavyweights, no doubt, but only for a best possible finish of 5th should they win this match and the subsequent encounter against the winner of tomorrow's or today's next game against, or rather between England and Argentina. Possession with the Belgians. Van Streydonk getting a pass through to Depor.
Herzberger is still denying the pass back to the Belgian left. So the press that he is leading and setting up is forcing Belgium to the right-hand side. And I don't understand it in terms of where. If you drew a heat pattern of where Belgium have gone and been successful, there'd be a bright red strip up and down this red touch line. Well, in the second half underneath us, but the first half the far side of the pitch. That's where it'd be. That's where they wanted to go to. So for me, you'd offset your forward line. You create a diagonal line of forwards with 2 or 3 players to just force the ball out to the left-hand side and put the Belgians somewhere where they don't want to be.
Let's see how the Dutch approach this third quarter tactically. A 2-goal cushion, but they will know against the Belgians, the tricky Belgians, that nothing is enough. Specifically against Australia in their pool match, we saw quite the most outstanding fight back. 3-0 down at one stage and eventually finished 4-all. Here comes Kousters, stealing it from the goal scorer of the second goal for Netherlands, Sandervaart. Now this is Depor. Depor has some support alongside him in the shape of the skipper, Domen. Chooses to go all the way back to Arthur van Doren. This time Belgium looking to possibly initiate an attack through their left side. They haven't done that too much today.
Once again, it's Sandervaart leading out to the top of the press. We've been used to seeing him at far deeper positions. Why they're pushing him through, maybe the Dutch have got a couple of injury issues or sickness issues of their own, and therefore they've not got the rotation of players through different lines. If that's the case, Sandervaart having to step forward to take up a slightly unusual position tactically for him and personally.
This is one man who's always tricky on the ball. Sevevanas sending that ball in, almost finding Herzberger in a good position, and also had Sandervaart in support. Yes, Bart getting into some very good goal-scoring positions, but this has been slipped through. Looking there for Dokier. Nicely defended though. Back with the Dutch.
And it was clever as Denayer brought it forward, because he changed his body position as he cut in field, threatening a pass to the top of the circle. Dokier had read that, and as Denayer went left to right to drive towards the goal, Dokier led right to left to provide the line down the ball, which undid 3 out of 4 Dutch defenders, unfortunately not to the 4th.
Well, Belgium, the most startling statistic in that first half, entire half, was that they had only 1 shot. That is something they'll want to rectify. Bring Perman Black more into play, but for the moment they'll need to defend this. Again, it's Robert van der Horst. He's got a terrific run going, but eventually just surrounded by a slew of red shirts, managed to grab the ball off him. Van Streydonk has a couple of players for support. One of them is the captain, John Domen, sends this one in. It's a flick on, and this could be one of the goals that Belgium would have needed, but Dokier denied by some alert defending in the end from Mink van der Weerden. And much like Sandervaart, he almost found this ball unexpectedly.
Yeah, it was a ball that bobbled just through to him. It wasn't great defence. Perman Black read it very, very well. There's a touch there that takes it into the circle, past the stick of Sander de Wijn. Not sure he could have done much better in front of Perman Black, because the goalkeeper was on top of him very, very quickly.
What was also critical, Black getting enough of contact to get the ball away. It needed to come closer to one of the Dutch defenders, and it was van der Weerden in that follow-up position. Otherwise, it would have been fatal for the Dutch defense. This has been swung in with power and seeing it through, but because it was unintentional, it will only be a long corner. Defensive duties falling to the midfield players of the Oranje, playing in white today.
Sandervaart shoulder to shoulder with Tom Boone in that last clip, and the defenders will protect spaces within a circle. Lots of different ways of defending. Somebody like the Australians will play a zonal defence where they will aggressively front mark, not specifically covering a player but covering spaces. I was always uncomfortable with that kind of thing, because a good little bit of movement from these athletes who are so mobile in the circle was difficult to then communicate about. Or alternatively, you play a really tight man-to-man, as we saw in the last clip, with someone like Tom Boone, given the attention by a specific defender.
Well, Simon did speak of Australia. Australia will be in action in the first semi-final today. That promises to be an absolute cracker-jack of a match. Australia against Germany. Gritty game at the best of times, and this will be a semi-final to determine who goes through to the final in this Hero Champions Trophy. That will be played at 5:15 local time. That's 11:45 GMT. So to set your date with that semi-final wherever you are, whichever part of the world. At the moment, Netherlands looking at ease, but this second half has begun well for Belgium. Almost had a great opportunity inside the D, but for some alert goalkeeping, Delmay's team could well have scored their first goal just a while ago. This is Van der Weerden. Oh, lovely touch on from Van der Horst. Sets up an attack yet again down the right flank for the Dutch. Wrong footing the defenders was Constantijn Jonker, who also has 2 goals in this Champions Trophy. Now this is slipped through. It's Kousters. Does he have enough support? Looks upfield, but sends it straight to Nick van der Schoot.
A speculative ball thrown away cross-field by Kousters. Nick van der Schoot in a good position, covering back as a midfielder should, as your opposite number accelerates past you to support the attack. Quite often just a couple of metres of running shows your shirt colour in that channel.
Now this has been well stolen. It's 3 against 2. This could be Belgium's best opportunity. Thomas Brils getting into the D, but oh, that's a chance missed. Kousters was closest to him, just didn't find that incisive pass which he might have been looking for.
Well, I know that you're trying to look to create a simple opportunity. It's something that, to look at another sport, it's something that Arsenal are criticised for, trying to walk the goal into an empty net. To me, if you get to that position as a forward, you touch the ball outside your right foot, put your left foot through it to set your platform and drill it. You're on a decent angle, get a shot away on goal.
Yes, and that was something we did notice in the first half. Both quarters got into great positions, made a few circle penetrations, but just couldn't convert it into shot scoring opportunities. And you've got to make the goalkeeper work for it. That's not happened enough from Belgium, and that is possibly why they're trailing by 2 goals at this stage. But they've shown in the first, literally the half of this quarter, that they can create chances, and that's why the Dutch defense will have to be as alert as possible. At the moment, it is Netherlands on the attack. Van der Schoot on to Van der Weerden. Barring those 2 penalty corners, no attempts from him yet in this match. That was early on in the first quarter. This is whipped in, gets a touch on, but will go for a long corner only. Good outing for some of the younger players. Mirko Pruscher just playing his 5th match in Netherlands colours, making his debut here at the Hero Champions Trophy. One of the younger players in this team at 25. But Belgium have had their chances, Simon, and it looks like they could score at some stage.
Yeah, they've stolen the midfield on this replay counter. That's a lovely little pass to Brils as he comes steaming in. Now he just needs to put his left foot. Why pass? There is absolutely no need to do that. Herzberger inside him is too far away to get a tackle. He had support, but get it across goal, shoot to the goalkeeper's right foot. I think that's the wrong decision from that man.
At 27, the oldest player in this Belgian team, and has an experience of 217 caps before this, but just generally sums up the fact that Belgium perhaps not quite accustomed to playing as many top quality matches at this stage, although their performance graph has been improving, as shown by that world ranking of 4. Now this time they move in quite well and just getting a free hit at a good position. Laurent Van Obel, who's one of their 8 goal scorers in this Hero Champions Trophy. Skipper John Doman gets this ball in, could have been dangerous.
Tombe, what he's asking for is a ball deliberately pushed off the baseline from Sevi Van As. I'm not sure it was deliberate, I think it was just a lack of skill. It pops in from the channel there, nothing going on. And I don't know what Van As was looking for. I'm convinced he wouldn't have been trying to put it off the baseline, but you would have suggested that should probably have been given.
Not temporary amnesia, was it? Did he think that that was the Belgian side of the pitch? Also no referral taken as yet, but this was their previous attempt.
That's the shooting chance. That's a shooting chance. It wasn't helped. Cousins should have gone to the far post on his reverse, because Briels could have just tucked it under his arm with a clip hit.
And can they be undone at the other end? Constantine Jonker with a fantastic effort to work his way through, got into the D, was quickly closed down, and that in the end proved to be quite crucial.
Yeah, got in and tried to pull the trigger. Agree with it completely. So it's picked in. Jonker turns, lovely little skill, takes it back through the feet of Van Orbel. Then he just chooses to shoot. That's good, strong defending from a trailing reverse stick.
Yes, for a younger team like Belgium that they are, and in a situation like this where they're playing for pride more than anything else, and the satisfaction, of course, of finishing above 8th position, what you are looking for is execution of skills. And on a few occasions today, they have shown some great skills. It's a team with a lot of flair. It's a team with some heart. Just was undone, perhaps a little overawed, perhaps by the atmosphere, which we referred to earlier in the quarterfinal against the Indians. This is Dokier almost working his way through. Looked up at the umpire as well. Was looking for some kind of an intervention from Fernando Gomez. Still with the Belgians, though. Dorian Thierry getting some support. This has been whipped in. Oh, almost controlled. Needed to get a shot going, but just couldn't, and in the end conceding the free hit.
Well, Tom Bone was appealing for this, but he didn't get enough on it. That's the first touch, but misses with the second. Suggestion of a stick tackle in the first instance, but I think both players missed the ball completely as they went to play it and just clattered each other's stick.
This has been a red-hot third quarter. No goals as yet in this. You get the impression Belgium need to score soon just to inspire themselves into making a comeback into this game. The longer they trail by this 2-goal deficit, the more difficult it will be for them to bring it back to level pegging terms. Down the right, Dokier with a good ball through for Briels. Briels looking for some support. Gets it in the shape of Stockbrooks. Good skills from Van Aas.
Well, Van Aas showing the value of that full team rotation. We talked about the goal scored by Sander Bart. Contact here. This is the jab away that Captain Jean-Jean Doman suggested should have been his ball. But those player rotations so important. So someone like Sander Bart getting up front for the Dutch, but then Sevi Van Aas playing deep in his own defence and being able to not only tackle but then carry the ball forwards through into the midfield. So I don't know if Max Caldas is doing some player rotations, experimenting with some different things, but certainly we're seeing players in slightly unusual positions.
Van Aas again initiating this attack, looking for the return ball from Prussia, but just sent in with a little bit too much speed for the number 9 from Netherlands. Mind you, Netherlands' 2 goals today have carried them ahead of both England as well as Australia in terms of goal scoring. They've gone up to 13 goals scored in this Hero Champions Trophy. So they have some ammunition of their own. Goals coming in from the attacking line in particular have been aplenty. Herzberger has had 2. Dieter van Puffelen, who's not really been seen in action today, has had 2 goals as well, getting his international career off to a great start. Another one of the younger players who was a member of their junior World Cup squad just about a year ago.
And it's no surprise that it's the younger players who have been quieter, because emotionally after that defeat they'll always struggle mentally to come back into the game, and that's when experience really counts. The ability to box up those emotions, put them away and come back.
Now this is a chance here for the Belgians to come back. It's terrifically taken by Dokier, but what super goalkeeping from Black. Made himself big and got right in the face. There could still be a reverse opportunity, trying for the tomahawk, but just didn't get enough space to get it away. Van Orbel, excellent keeping.
Yeah, down the left-hand side, Dokier, he knows he wants to get it out and then touch it in front of the goalkeeper, and Permin Black looking to accelerate, extend the left foot to get the clearance through. Good old-fashioned save clearing as a goalkeeper.
Well, Belgium have had a much better quarter, had conceded in both of the first 2 quarters, but in this one they've looked the more likely team to score, and they seal it with a goal of their own. Last 10 seconds here. Chance for Sebastian Dokier. Get it into a great position, but this will be the last bit of action. And after 3 quarters in this match, Netherlands still with the advantage. It's Belgium 0, Netherlands 2.
It's Belgium 0, Netherlands 2.
Well, the third quarter where Belgium have looked a little bit more inspired, and no doubt they have come out guns blazing. Had a couple of great opportunities, just that perhaps that little lack of experience, big match experience it must be said, in the case of somebody like Thomas Briels. Tried to cut the ball back when he should have perhaps gone for a shot across the face of goal. But right towards the end, Perman Black with a couple of occasions where he came out and made sure that he made himself a formidable target for the attackers to deal with, denying the likes of Dokier and Denaye, who've been getting into good positions. Belgium still very much in it, but Netherlands holding the aces, not surprisingly, in terms of the numerical advantage in this match. Quick reminder once again, the winner of this will go on to face the winner of today's second game between England and Argentina for 5th and 6th position.
Yeah, but we have to continue the way we do. We play, we dominate the game, we do everything right, we get the opportunities.
Here on Delmay just with some words of wisdom for the last 15 minutes, but he'll be quite pleased with the way that the things have transpired in the last quarter.
Yeah, I think they will, but as well as, I don't want to take anything away from the Belgians, but I think the Dutch took their foot off the gas a bit, and it was shown by the fact that Robert van der Horst was out for the first 10 minutes of that quarter. He was having a bit of a rest, and I think that the Dutch lost a little bit of direction because of that. He was the guy who instigated both of the Dutch goals, and by taking him out the midfield, I think that it meant the Belgians had more opportunity to come forward with the ball.
Belgium 0, Netherlands 2.
Well, Netherlands have had a good outing in terms of their goalkeeper, Perman Black, and what's been quite good from his perspective is the fact that he's bounced back. He was quoted after the match against India where he last played. He was disappointed with the way he gave away the third goal. Well, this is an early chance here for Belgium, but yet again Perman Black does exceedingly well to deny Tom Bowen. He has bounced back with great aplomb, and that's quite appreciable for a top quality sports person.
Yeah, well, he's a phenomenal goalkeeper anyway, and he believes in his own talent. You only have to talk with him generally to see the bounce and the swagger that he has. Not in any sort of negative way, but he's just confident in what he can do. Does exactly the same here. Cousins looks up, sees Tom Bone, flips it through into the space. Bone tries to open the blade of the stick to get it above the goalkeeper. Black just getting close enough, because the ball does pop up, but it's good body position. He hasn't gone flat onto the floor. Upper body with a bit of height, able to take the ball down and smother effectively.
Oh, this one was slapped in with some power. Again, Belgium looking for it. Again, Black stands in the way. This has been a fantastic start from both Belgium as well as the goaltender for Netherlands. Still with Belgian possession, looking for another ball into the box. It is Van Doren who was first to it. Player goes down, and it was Tom Bowen who had the best chance before this, but the last one was even closer perhaps.
Was again left-hand side reverse stick in, it bobbles down, it's picked up brilliantly going down the middle by Jean-Jean Doman. Perman Black having to collapse onto the ball because it's played straight between his feet, so he has to just fall backwards to get his legs in the way.
His two different kinds of saves, one on which occasion he didn't commit, and which is why he was able to dive away to his right, and this time needed to get down low and make that save. For a big man, excellent job on both occasions, and to think that he's perhaps the number 2 behind Jaap Stockman. This tells you that this Dutch team has a lot of quality, never mind the overall result of this Hero Champions Trophy. Well, he's taking a claim because there is a title for the best goalkeeper, the Tata Steel best goalkeeper at this Hero Champions Trophy. And this performance of his will do his cause a world of good, although it must be said Van Asch from Belgium has also had a good tournament. This is again slipped in. This match is far from over, even though there are still 12.5 minutes, with Belgium with a slight momentum in this fourth quarter. Oh, Boone was looking for that clever pass, but just didn't find a player at the end of it.
Well, and that's the point of Iron, is he was looking for a clever pass. As the ball gets transferred, he tries to play this in first time, sliding, his body weight's going away from it. You pull the right hand across the ball to create the spin and the direction. But at this stage in the game, I'm not sure clever is what you want. I think you want solid. I think you want get the ball, take it left to right across your body and use your speed.
Doman has got this one in, and finally Belgium get there first, and it's that man. Just a while ago, he was trying to set up one of his teammates, but this time Tom Bone was at the receiving end, and he made no mistake, and a massive achievement to get the ball past an unbreachable Berman Black.
Touch in the middle of the circle that means the ball comes to Bone, and all of a sudden he's got a little bit of space. He can lead towards the ball. Royce is not able to get past him to stop the slap shot that goes under Berman Black. Berman Black not able to get his hips to the ground to create the barrier. It all happens in front of him too quickly.
76th goal of this Hero Champions Trophy, second in all for Tom Bone. And it has just brought a lot of energy back into this game, because now the last 11 minutes are going to be a little tense. Netherlands will have to just move up a gear, because they have spent most of these first 4 minutes on the back foot, and eventually Belgium have been rewarded with a goal.
Yeah, and it's been threatening in this quarter, hasn't it, right from the start? 3 or 4 chances. That's obviously the most meaningful of them, and even that was down to a little bit of a fortunate touch on the edge of the circle. It's amazing how the big deflections can be read, but if the ball moves by no more than half a metre, all of the angles change and create some extra space. Bone was able to exploit it deep at the back of the Dutch defence.
Possession for the Dutch, and they will want to try and just reverse the spell of pressure. The first 5 minutes have completely belonged to the Belgians. The Dutch just not being able to get into the Belgian D or anywhere near around that. And that, as Simon did point out, possibly down to the fact that Robert van der Horst hasn't played too much of a role, but he is back on the pitch, and that is a welcome sign for the Dutch fans.
It creates that midfield triangle. Van der Veerde comes up the back of it as a fullback, but Kemperman, Rogier Hoffman, Van der Horst.
This is always a danger. And they do find the post, and it was Jonker at the end of it. This is a routine that they used to good effect in their previous matches as well. Van der Veerde slaps it in with a lot of power and almost results in a goal.
It's not just the power, it's the disguise. Look at that for a long touch. Jonker's done exactly what Tom Bone did a moment ago. We see it in both of those pictures. The forwards are leading towards the ball to affect the shooting opportunities. If a forward just stays static, a defender can step in front of him. But if you keep coming back towards the ball, then you can suddenly get stuff on goal, as Jonker did to hit the post.
Well, can Belgium reply in kind this time? Just couldn't control the ball, Tom Bone. It was sent in well by Van Straydonk. He was falling away to the right. Not quite in balance, but still managed to get a great ball through. Max Caldas is very, very animated, because he knows that the Dutch are under pressure, but they nearly had that third goal, and that would have given them a 2-goal cushion once again to put pressure right back on the Belgians. Couldn't quite put it away with some help from the woodwork, or the framework rather. Mink van der Weerden on to Sander Bart. Given away in midfield. Van Doren looks up, gets some support now from Kousters, but giving the ball away to Sander Bart.
Well, and that just shows the mentality of a player who normally plays in the heart of defence. As he got that ball, a forward would have got it and just gone, accelerated the first 2 or 3 metres to create the uncertainty and the fear in the heart of the Dutch defence. Arthur Van Doren got it and went, where's my help?
And now we'll need to track back to defend. Seve Fanas getting good move together, getting a ball onto the foot, which will lead in a free hit just outside the dotted line. Glenn Schumann. This is Hafenga on to Van der Weerden. All of the Dutch players, barring their goalkeeper, now on the Belgian side of the pitch. Strength in numbers, but just couldn't control this ball. Skipper Van der Horst wasn't perhaps expecting the Belgian player to miss it in the first instance. Last 8 minutes and a bit in this match for Belgium to come back and record a similar scoreline to what happened when these two teams met during the World League finals. No matchups at the World Cup, which was held, of course, in the Netherlands, where Netherlands finished second and the Belgians were 5th overall. Cousins gets this ball in. Has he found a foot? Yes, indeed. It's a penalty corner, and it's come at a good time for the Belgians, because once again it will bring their big guns into action.
can Belgium capitalise? It's a great spin from Cousins. All of a sudden getting caught out, Jonker on the edge of the circle as it pings off his foot.
Well, in that little huddle of players, there is no Tom Bone, and remember, there's no Lupai because of his injury. So the first two options who would normally take penalty corners aren't in there, but Cousins is one of the batteries, and alongside him it's Alexandre Deport. Will they perhaps be looking for a deflection to the man with the injection as well? Oh, it is Cousins. It's well saved though by Black. In this kind of impeccable form, he made it look as easy as plucking an apple from an orchard.
Looks like we're going to pick up a card. Cousins having flicked this to the goalkeeper's left. Perman Black getting a big left glove to it, making it look simple. But Cousins has picked up a yellow card, I think, from Fernando Gomez. So Cousins suggesting that he's gone over. Well, he has gone over the top of Herzberger. Herzberger's had the mask taken off his head. It's a clumsy tackle. Well, I'm not sure in a game like this. I'm not sure it's a yellow card. That's momentum of players coming together, in my opinion. Cousins has reached in to try and deny Herzberger coming away, but he hasn't leapt into the tackle in any way.
It's just looked worse than it actually was, and in that respect, chasing this game, Belgium will feel a little aggrieved, but the decision has been taken. Cousins will have to sit out for a little while yet in that sin bin, and that will mean Netherlands can just control the flow of play, because it has been going Belgium's way the last few minutes, especially with that goal that they got back on goal.
Lovely skill from Kuis down that right-hand side.
Getting some support too from Brils, back with Kousters. Oh, back with the Belgians as they move forward yet again. Just conceding a free hit, but happy to do that. The Dutch allows them just some time to regroup in defense. Swept in. Oh, the Dutch nearly came through, but Brils had his backside to the goal.
He did. It's hit his foot as it's come in. He's kicked it away, and the Dutch can come forward. Good advantage from the umpire, because Brils was right in front of Perman Black's goal. As it comes in, Van Orbel sees the run. Brils unable to get his stick in the right place. It nearly knocks him off his feet.
Tells you the ferocity and the velocity with which that ball was sent in by Van Orbel. Also speaks of the desperation from the Belgians. This is what they're famous for, good fighting performance, and that is what they've delivered today. One goal, and we'll be back in business, and possibly we'll be looking at the first shootout of this Hero Champions Trophy.
Well, the issue for Belgium now is that the Dutch, with their extra man, can afford to put a player in the face of the ball carrier at all times. There's no excuse for the Belgians being able to eliminate.
Rasha got that ball in, and just for a little while the ball popped up, and everybody was looking at Raghu Prasad to see which way the umpire would give that free hit. It does go Belgium's way. This is Deport. Does well to retain possession, sends the ball in, but just too much of a straight line to go through. Lots and lots of white shirts.
Yeah, and that's a real hit and hope pass. He's got no idea of where else to go. Obviously, with a man down, you've lost a passing option. It's fairly likely that the Belgians won't have thrown an extra man or risked an extra man forward.
Meanwhile, here's Netherlands. There's a chance, but just couldn't get a very good first touch on it, Van der Linden. But still has done well. Looking for the reverse here. Attempt from Herzberger, blazing it over in the end, but quite a chance. What a red-hot match this has been, and it will be reflected in the numbers that it has been a close encounter. Belgium, in fact, shading possession 54 to 46%. Also more circle penetrations, and the fact that Perman Black has been in impeccable form. There's proof of that.
Yeah, and Black's marshalled the defence. Players such as Van der Horst in front of him. He's had a great game. Belgian chances, though, they're not the real shooting opportunities that the Dutch have had, such as the one we just saw with Herzberger blazing over the bar, and it's unusual to see him missing the target on his backhand.
Here comes Mirko Krauscher. Again, not to allude to your permanent membership of the goalkeepers union, but I would think Perman Black would be more than just a shoe-in for the man of the match.
Couldn't possibly comment at this stage with 4 minutes to go. Who knows? There might be something out there that draws to an equaliser and then sets up the shootout. Alternatively, there might be a moment of brilliance, so we shall see. But he's certainly had an influence on the outcome of this game, particularly in that third quarter when the Dutch lost their way a little bit.
This is Stockbrooks. He's got this ball going in. Oh, that's a fantastic bit of defending, and it's from that captain, Robert van der Horst. All fours and completely sprawling on the floor. He managed to get that ball away with his extended left hand. Terrific game of hockey this has been in the fourth quarter. Still trailing by 1 goal, of course, the Belgians. What a save that was from Van der Horst, because Van Hobbel was in a great position to capitalize had the ball just slipped through to him. Van Doren. Very soon Cousins will get over with his suspension, and that could be a pivotal moment, but will Belgium have enough time to capitalize on that? Netherlands relatively have a slightly simpler job, just need to hold on to this 1-goal lead.
Well, I think with that man coming back in, they're going to have to commit an extra player to the forward line in order to create that overload up front as he comes back in. I'd be very surprised if, as he comes back in, he drops into the midfield. He's going to accelerate up towards the front line and try and stretch play.
The Netherlands look like they are going to set up a date for the 5th position, and that will be against the winner of today's second match of the day when England take on Argentina, and this could be the seal of approval on that scoreline. Oh, again coming off the framework, but terrific effort. Still possession with the Dutch, looking for that touch inside from Jonker, but well defended by the Belgians, who now have a chance to pull away with possibly their last substantial attempt of this entire match.
Oh, what a great bit of skill from Jonker. It was all about what he did, all on his own to go down the baseline, no support. Picks it on the edge of the D, peels round, that's good body position. Now when he tucks infield and goes backhand, he's hit the top of that post with the goal beckoning. Van Asch, actually good body position. Left hand was nowhere near that ball.
So much seemed to happen in the span of just about a couple of seconds. The way that he came across, cut across. Now Belgium taking off Van Asch, so that was his last bit of action. And as we have seen before in some of their games, throwing all their men forward, with Van Doren given goalkeeping privileges. That's why that blue bib on him. And this is the chance. There is no goalkeeper now. The Dutch will look to press this forward. Belgium going in for the referral, which is the sensible thing to do because both teams have their referral intact. Will they get this one in their favor?
Yeah, and this is being called as a push, I think.
What is the video for?
I suggest it's outside the circle. In real time, it just looked like the contact might be outside the D.
Please go away. Hans, no, he can talk English. Now, back. Yeah, for the breakdown, totally he posed it, but penalty corner. Okay. Okay. So you say it's a good tackle. Okay. Thank you. Andrew? Yes, okay. The Belgian player says that it's a good defense. He did not push the player. Can check that one for me, please?
So we're not looking for where the tackle is. We're just suggesting that it's a good tackle. Well, I'd suggest it's not a good tackle given where the ball goes. Missed the ball. There's stick obstruction there. Van Strooijdonck's then trying to change. It's where is, I don't know whether our video umpire Andrew Kennedy will comment on where the contact is. That contact to me is outside the circle in the first instance. That's then ugly. So the penalty in the first instance could be outside the D. Looking down beneath us, yeah, the Belgians are lining up for the corner anyway, so it was quite a hopeful request at that moment.
Well, just a little bit of a wry smile on the face of Jeroen Delmay because he knows there is no goalkeeper to save this.
Well, because of that, if you look at the Dutch attack, they've got an injector, a stopper, a flicker and a slip flicker, nothing else at all, probably respecting the defence in front of them. You'd like to think that somebody like Van der Weerden in this situation would go low if he's going to flick it. He'd go through the feet and try and pick up slightly less dangerous.
Mink van der Weerden looking for his 4th goal. Good bit of defending there. Terrific running from Emmanuel Stockbrooks. Well done.
That's a great bit of forward running. It's gone straight through. That's a great jump, but he was going low. You've got to respect Van der Weerden for deciding that was the option.
And now, could this be the chance? Could this be Belgium's opening? They have got this ball in, looking for the shot. Berman Black was on the hop because Koisters made contact, made decent contact as well.
That's a brilliant bit of attacking. You got to love that. The ball had popped up horribly. I thought the chance had gone. Koisters knocks it up in the air, upright reverse. Berman Black on his near post. Great connection down into the turf. Difficult bit of goalkeeping.
He's hardly put a foot or a hand wrong in this entire match. Just once that his defense was breached. And there was not much that he could have done when Tom Bone did score against him in the 49th minute. But it has been a fantastic performance overall from the Dutch. And they can seal it off with a goal here of their own. Yet again, good bit of defending from Van Doren. Could be the last chance. Last few seconds. Need to get that ball into the D. That's what they're looking for. Yet again, it's Denaye. This has been sent in. It's a little bit of a melee. Oh, similar drama to the type that we had against Australia. Will the Dutch go for a referral here? They've got nothing to lose.
Well, this depends on what stick it comes up off. There's a shot on goal, but if this has come up off a Dutch stick, it is dangerous. But it does depend on whose stick it comes from.
Yes, Fernando. No, it was a good tackle for me.
Andrew?
No.
Yes, I hear Fernando.
Netherlands says that the deflection is outside the circle. Can you check for me, please?
Sorry, can you say that again, Fernando?
Netherlands. He says the deflection came from outside the circle.
Yes. Okay. You have given a penalty corner, so it's dangerous, but they're saying it was outside
Deflection
the circle.
outside the circle, really? I thought this just touches it. It's inside when it first gets hit. How can that not be a corner? He was having a shot.
Should award a penalty corner, and Netherlands lose their referral.
Thank you.
Well, that's when you ask for a referral in the hope that something has happened that nobody within the entire ground has seen.
But they have done this before. Will they do it again? Belgium, with the last shot of the match, had equalized against Australia. They'll need to repeat that dose here against the Dutch, and then this will take this through to a shootout. Each of the Belgian support staff is alongside the advertisement boards as this ball comes in, looking for that equalizer, and they have found it as well! A deflection right at the end. Belgium have taken this through to a shootout. High drama in Bhubaneswar. Incredible action here. The Dutch feel a little disappointed, but for the Belgians, it's nothing less than a lifeline. Terrific drama here at Bhubaneswar. And this is how it happened.
Out to the top. Tom Bone was the distraction. It's a great routine. It's the injector, Jean-Jean Doman, coming in off the baseline. It's Cousins has delivered it under his arm, dead flat. That's a beautiful touch. Nothing that Sanderbar can do on the line. Stop clean as you like. It's a half-paced delivery that's given Belgium the equaliser and the chance to go to this shootout.
Incredible match, and the drama here is not over yet. Full-time scoreline here after 60 minutes. It's Belgium 2, Netherlands 2. What a fourth quarter. What a second half, in fact, from Jeroen Delmay's team. Getting 2 goals in, and Mace just showing that they have learned some lessons. And of course, we know that they have a big heart, but they've proved it here with their performance. Took their substitute goalkeeper, or rather their goalkeeper, off, and still managed to come back in it.
Yeah, not only that, having taken that substitute goalkeeper off, they conceded a penalty corner that they defended. Mink van der Weerden had that chance, and you saw that the Dutch didn't commit to the attacking routine, making the assumption they could score past the defence that had no goalkeeper in the middle, and they've been punished. And you can ask all sorts of questions about why they made that decision, but in the end, they chose not to close the game out as they could have done.
This has been a very dramatic finish, really. This fourth quarter in particular, Belgians throwing everything at their opponents and eventually being rewarded with a fine goal. Good bit of routine work there. All the members of their team in attack, but it was Doman who got that touch in, coming in from the right.
And what we might see is that man there coming in, and known as a penalty shootout specialist goalkeeper, Jeremy Gukasov. He was the guy who first started using this extra long goalkeeper stick and making the question about how long the stick could be. There is now a regulation about it, but we will see him in goal for the Belgians using something like a 42-inch goalkeeping stick.
Well, heavy drama here into the 17th match in this Hero Champions Trophy. We will see the first tiebreaker, which, much like its name, is often a heartbreaker, and it is going to break the hearts of one of these two teams, the Belgium or the Netherlands. Just to remind you of the shootout rules here, each attacking player will have 8 seconds to try and dodge the goalkeeper, get it past him into the goal. So in many respects, as my co-commentator Simon Mason, who himself has been a former goalkeeper for England and Great Britain, has alluded, just brings the goalkeeper more into play, Mace, which will make this a very exciting contest.
I will indeed. I much prefer it to the shootouts of old from the penalty spot. It does mean that the goalkeeper can come out. Quite often we've seen goalkeepers, they attack the edge of the circle quickly and aggressively. Sometimes that draws contact and the upgrade from the shootout to a penalty stroke. But then we've seen other goalkeepers who go towards the edge of the D quickly and then shuffle backwards, trying to waste time and not commit themselves to the ball carrier. Be interesting to see what tactics are used.
Well, it is Yeremy Gukasov who has taken his position or is going towards the goal. So it will be the Netherlands who will be shooting first. So who will it favor more here, Simon, in this situation? Would you rather be going first?
As an attacker, if you're asking me the question as a team member, I would want my team to attack first, because you can then get in front, get your nose in front. Then as a goalkeeper, you can then just do your bit and you've created the advantage. You have nothing to lose.
So the man getting ready for it will be Herzberger, and he is just at the edge, just on the 25-yard line. And we'll be looking to get this going. The clock on the top left will indicate those 8 seconds, and we will count down, as will be the fans of both teams. Jeroen Herzberger, ready to go. Up against him, Yeremy Gukasov, the substitute goalkeeper who's been brought in just for this shootout here. Off we go with the first one. It's Herzberger. Up against him, Gukasov. A little dodge to the right, getting some space. Easy finish for him. Herzberger scored in normal time and has done it again in the shootout.
Yeah, Herzberger so calm. Little dink one way, dummies and fakes, and goes round the goalkeeper's feet. Gukasov unable to get down on the floor, can't use that long reach. Look how long the stick is in his right hand. Almost impossible to get it across his feet.
Felix Denayer will be going in for the first shootout attempt from the Belgian perspective. 5 dots there to try and fill in, and what they'll want is a green dot.
Done exactly the same though, changed the goalkeeper, the Netherlands. Stockman in goal, not Perman Black, who'd had such a good game.
Here comes Denayer, he's up against Stockman. Both of them getting close. Time. Oh, that's well done. He did well. He did exceedingly well, because it's not just about the skills, it's also about the time.
That's a great bit of control from Denayer. Doesn't obstruct. He's allowed to carry the ball there. Doesn't back into Stockman. Stockman somehow falling over. Again, can't get that long forehand around the other side and ending up flat on his belly.
So Denayer winning the contest against Stockman. It's now going to be Robert Kemperman, and he will be up against the goalkeeper from Belgium, Yeremy Gukasov. This one for 2-1. 2 seconds in. Into the third. Needs to dodge. Gets the dodge in. All he needed to do was just convert, and that's all he does. Gukasov was on his back, and from then on it was an easy finish.
Kemperman calm as he comes in, and Gukasov loses his footing, plants that right foot to try and change direction. Now the pressure was on Kemperman. Can he roll it into an empty net? And does.
The next attempt, even as Kemperman celebrates, is going to come in from Bocard. It's Cousins, and Cousins, oh, Oh, he has been denied. Stockman with the top bit of goalkeeping. Looked so assured. And now Netherlands, in a sense, have drawn first blood through their goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper's now having to effectively jab tackle. Cousins carries that in wide, goes to get the ball and turn. And as he takes his stick off, that's great timing, because if Cousins' stick comes off the floor and in taking it off the floor, he doesn't protect it.
2-1 here. Netherlands with a chance to pull ahead with their next conversion. And this attempt will come in from Seve van As. He's up against Gukasov, going down to the right. Gukasov through his legs, nutmegged, will be disappointed, bangs the turf in disgust.
Well, often very, very good to do that as the goalkeeper moves. As you go sideways as a goalkeeper, you have to take the step, and he's waiting for it. He's waiting for those feet to open up so he can slide it underneath. Very, very calm from Seve van As.
3-1 now in favour of the Dutch. Belgium will need to convert the next one to keep the pressure going on the Dutch. And it is up to the young shoulders of Arthur Van Doren. Van Doren up against Stockman, very, very experienced keeper. Look at him trying to make sure that he hassles him, harries him, but he still gets the shot away. And does it just inside 8 seconds.
Van Doren staying calm, staying calm. He goes around one way. Stockman does get across to his left quite well. Dummy shot, and that gives Van Doren that extra little bit of space as he rotates round. The goalkeeper unable to go forwards, needed to push off his toes more.
This is really going down to the wire. It's the 26-year-old Sander Bart who will be going in for the next one. Scored only his 5th goal in international hockey in today's match. And he'll need to convert this, but Gukasov is not making things any easier for him. It's going to be a stroke for an obstruction.
I think it's been given for obstruction, but they're going to go to video referral, you feel. Sander Bart lost control. Gukasov put his stick between Sander Bart's stick and the ball.
The goalkeeper said that the ball is in his stick, and I say, for me, it's obstruction for his stick. Can you check for me, please?
Okay, you have given a penalty stroke for obstruction. He's saying his stick was hit. Okay, I will check.
No, what he's saying is it's stick obstruction. He's saying that there is obstruction on Sander Bart. Is that the goalkeeper, Jeremy Gukasov, as he goes around to his left here? Nothing there. The ball's still in play at this point. Now, is that obstruction with the right hand? To me, that's deliberate obstruction on Sander Bart, so the decision stands. That's a stick tackle to start with. Sander Bart carries on. Is that there? The right hand underneath, pushing the stick of Sander Bart away. To me, that's decision upheld. Not for that tackle there. Here, look at the right hand away. That is obstruction, deliberate obstruction.
And it happened right under the eyes of Fernando Gomez.
Change your decision. You should award a penalty stroke, and Belgium lose their referral.
Thank you.
And so the stroke stands. And this will really tighten the screws on the Belgians, because if Netherlands score from this, which often happens to be the case, then Belgium will have no scope for missing any of the remaining 3 shots, and they will have to effect another save. Will be Herzberger. Remember, the penalty stroke can come from somebody else. And he scores as well.
He does, but to me, this suggests there's a long drag off the spot for this. It's only meant to be a short drag. That's a long drag and whip up to the top left. I'm not sure how far you're allowed to drag it. That's a long old drag off that penalty spot, but it was pretty unstoppable regardless.
4-2 means that the next one must be converted. If Flora van Obel is not able to convert this one, then we will see Netherlands playing for the 5th position in one of the matches tomorrow. Could be a huge, huge moment in this game. Van Obel up against Stockman, who comes out striding, does get the tackle in as well, gets it out, and Netherlands are through in this match. And in the end, you would have to say perhaps the right result, because they did play slightly, just marginally better hockey for the 60 minutes. But what fantastic entertainment today for the entire crowd here at Bhubaneswar. Great scenes of jubilation as this match was decided on the shootout. The shootout eventually going Netherlands' way with a 4-2 scoreline after it finished 2-all after 60 minutes of this match. Great entertainment, and in the end, Stockman also making it a great day for the goalkeepers.
Yeah, it is the final one for Van Orbe. Stockman comes out a lot harder. We said at the beginning that some goalkeepers would attack the edge of the circle. He's fully committed to that. Delighted once he's made that save, because he has gone aggressively. He got the ball first and then there was contact. The Belgians beneath us are still in the face of the umpires having a chat about those decisions, but I think that's the right outcome in the end, Bayern.
Absolutely terrific game of hockey all around. Van Doren and company have done themselves proud too, but in the end proving to be too strong for them. Netherlands, the final scoreline 4 for Belgium, 6 for Netherlands, 2-4 on penalties after 2-all in full time. Not the match that they would have been hoping to play at the start of this Hero Champions Trophy, but you've got to take what comes to you. And Belgium, this means now they will be fighting for 7th place against whichever team goes on to lose the match between England and Argentina. Both teams, remember, had an outstanding start in this Champions Trophy, particularly Belgium were undefeated in the pool stages, but it was that 4-2 result against India which undid them in the quarterfinals. But today, they'll take a lot of heart from the way that they came back from being 2-0 down. Netherlands began brighter, and in this first half in particular, a couple of terrific passes from Robert van der Horst which unlocked the defence.
Yeah, it was a great pass in, but Herzberger's pick and turn is an out-and-out centre forward. Bottom corner past Van Asch in the goal. Said it before, say it again, there's about a ball width of space. Same transfer across to Van der Horst in the left-hand channel, cuts inside and looks for the ball into the circle. In doing so, drives it in. Sander Bart with a slightly fortunate take, but a brilliant finish with awareness of where the goalkeeper was against him as he flicks it up into that top left-hand corner.
Yes, terrific entertainment in this match. This one was Roman's ball which went in, took a deflection from Dupier, and Tom Boone finding the goal. And this was that last-minute drama, which is so common with Belgium right through this Hero Champions Trophy.
Yeah, and they've come right back into it, and it's a well-executed routine, a half-pace flick to the injector who's come in on that near post. There was then an upgrade during the shootout to go to a penalty, and then Stockman pulled off the last save against the Belgians, coming out one-on-one to all of a sudden get the win for the Netherlands.
This game in numbers, Belgium versus Netherlands, 2 goals apiece, 7 shots to 4 from Belgium. That emphasizes how good Perman Black was in the regulation 60 minutes. Circle penetrations were also more, 13-10, 53% possession in opposition half. So dominating most of the numbers, and that most dramatic of numbers, 1 from 2 penalty corners converted right at the end by John Doman. Let's go down for the post-match presentation where Michael Absalom is ready and waiting.
Thank you very much, and welcome along to the Hero Man of the Match presentation. We're here pitch side after that thrilling game between the Netherlands and Belgium. It went all the way to a shootout. So here alongside me for the presentation, we have Dr. R.P. Singh, a former member of the Indian hockey side, playing between 1984 and 1992. He's also the Director of Sports for the government of Uttar Pradesh. We also have with us the cheque for 25,000 rupees and today's Man of the Match, Perman Black. Congratulations, Perman. That was a thrilling finish to what was a close game.
It was quite close, and the last goal, I thought, oh, what's going to happen now? But we got him back. Jaapie saved us with the shootouts, and a win.
It was a day for the goalkeepers for you guys in the Netherlands side.
Yeah, it was quite good. It was a team effort, and 2 goalies, 1 team.
You made some important saves there, didn't you, in that second half, particularly one at full stretch. You must have been very chuffed with your personal performance today.
I played for the team and tried to save every ball, and today made a couple of saves, but I have to do more and to improve more.
So obviously the best you can do now is 5th. How do you approach that game going in against either England or Argentina?
We had a quite bad feeling after the game against Pakistan, and we want to win. Also, the game against Belgium, very good opponent, and we want to be 5th, and one more game to go.
All right, well, best of luck in the final game of the tournament. Here you go. Don't forget your man of the match trophy.
Indeed was a day for the goalkeepers. The last minute instant save here from Jaap Stockman, capping off what was a fine day for both him as well as his fellow goaltender. And look at the joy and jubilation. First to hug him was Perman Black, just to emphasize how important this match was for Netherlands. Saving face, even though they will still finish outside the top 4 for the first time since 1988. The full-time scoreline was 2-2, but won 4-2 on penalties by the Netherlands. The next match will feature England against Argentina. That is going to be played in just about half an hour from here in local time. Already on the pitch, warming up for that game. And then 2 huge semi-finals, crackerjack matches. Germany against Australia, and the big one, India versus Pakistan, will be meeting for only the 14th time in Champions Trophy history, with Pakistan at the moment holding a slender 7-6 advantage in terms of head-to-head. That will be a huge game. Simon, lots and lots to look forward to. So would urge all the viewers to stick around, because England-Argentina will also be close.
Absolutely, this day will grow through to the big one this evening, but before all of that, obviously England versus Argentina. Close competition, both teams looking to finish this as well as they can.
And just like Netherlands, England were also pool toppers and will want to emphasize that this has been a good Hero Champions Trophy for them. Join us for that match, which is coming up in just a short while from now.